London is good. Enjoyed that kind of limelight at that age. You are probably right when you said that. I have always learned from surroundings. I'm a very different person. London is my home. London is my new home. I'm the happiest when my children are around me, Made me a bit more real. I like to connect with my audience.
Hello everybody, Chile Live channel and me, Irene Lentiggini, we are greeting you. Today we have a fantastic guest, modern contemporary artist who paints with oil and does that in a very special, fantastic way, Tushar Sabale from London. Hello Tushar.
Hi Irene, very nice to see you. How are you doing?
Me too, great to see you. I'm great, what about you? How's London?
London is good. London is getting better. Things are opening up after this year lockdown, which has been like a big long year now. So things are opening up, which is kind of positive.
Such a pleasure. Now with all my guests we are sharing news. First of all, just me, I'm located in LA by the moment, and I'm talking to all over the world, and it's interesting to get news, what's happening, reality, you don't get it from official news, but you get it from your friends, from your colleagues, from your guests.
Absolutely. Like the first hand from the horse's mouth, isn't it?
I always should start my conversation from the phrase that astrology is just birth potential that we can use during our life or not. But let's check how it goes for you personally. You were born 20th of February 1979. So your date of birth contains borders expansion. Which painting was the first to see the world?
You know what? I've been painting since my childhood. I think I was probably 10 years old or something when I did my first international painting in one of the competitions. And that's probably when it all started. That's how I actually got into this whole thing.
But how did you get to Russia being a child?
I actually didn't travel. It was just my painting that was exhibited there. And strange enough, I have had a lot of Russian friends because my father used to work in aeronautics. So that time Russia was USSR. It was still Soviet Union. This was in like 80s, right? I had quite a few Russians studying in my school. So I had learned like few little Russian words, and we used to kind of play with them and things like that. That's how the painting travel. I never traveled. I've never been to Russia, although I would love to at some point. But it was an experience. I really enjoyed that kind of limelight at that age.
Okay, your month of birth shows that you're a person who take care of others. Are you guardian to anyone?
As a person, I think it comes very natural for me to look after things, whether it is a living thing or a non-living thing. Painting, though it's my passion, but I'm a very keen gardener, and gardening is nothing but looking after things. So what you are saying is, though I'm not official guardian for anyone, but I am to my children, like my blood children. You are probably right when you said that.
Thank you. Your birth year contains transformation. What is non-return point for you in life?
I think life is itself such a good teacher, and I have I have grown up just learning things, whether it is my skill for my painting or doing other things. I have always learned from surroundings, and I always been a very keen observer. I think now I'm at a no return point where I think I'm so happy doing what I do.
It's a great feeling that I wish to all followers and to everybody who watches and all people all over the world to find their, I don't know, their mission. Your karmic task is to develop Virgo qualities. So to work on, to be practice, to be concrete. How should an artist separate the worthy and non-worthy?
That's very, very interesting. Like, I think as an artist, when I am painting, when I'm in front of my canvas, I'm a very different person, and when I finish the painting, and it's almost like a outer body experience when I come out of the whole experience of having finished my painting and I stand there and look. I'm a family person. I'm being just a man, and I look at the painting and I'm like, oh my god, did I just finish it? Like, when did I do it? Like, it's almost like I come out of a trance or something, and like, oh my god, I seriously don't want to do it again. It looks very tedious, so that's so there is a person in me who kind of transforms, and it may sound a bit funny, but gets into this whole zone and in a mood of being an artist and does things. And so many times it's very, even my close friends, it's very unconvincing for them, because I can switch between being an artist, being a friend, being a dad, being just a person on the street, walking down, shopping, and I can do it very effortlessly without even being conscious about it. I can be a different person at very different times and different situations. So that really helps me to kind of uh, decide what is practical, what is not practical. So when I'm painting something, I might not think practically. I'm just getting into the creative zone and doing it.
Position in the 12th house states a good karmic work is coming from abroad. So you're very successful living abroad. Where are you from and what is your home?
I was born and brought up in India, right? And it's been more than a decade that we moved to London. And London is my home. London is my new home. Here is where I am professionally, and as a family person, I'm engaged with my audience, my people, and I've built my new nest here. But as you say, your heart is always where you have been born and brought up. So, and given the current situation, I think it's not, we are global citizens, right? So you can't have just one home. You are kind of constantly traveling, whether physically or mentally or emotionally. You can have more than one home. India is my birth home, and London is my current home, and this is where my family is being brought up, and this is where I sell my work. This is where I held my exhibitions, and London is a very, very cosmopolitan city. So it's kind of a home away from home, and I love this place. I love London.
Moon aspects give quite a reserved upbringing. What does an ordinary working day of a loving artist look like?
I was always connected with different aspects of traditions, religion, different kind of happenings around the world while I was growing up. And my family has been very simple. My dad used to work in a aeronautics factory, building fighter planes, and my mom was a housewife. She was looking after us, and she was the one who I always saw doing the creative things, and in a way, I have always been inspired by her. Um, so I think creativity is something that kind of has come from my family. So in a way, though there are no artists in my family, but like I said, my maternal side has always been very creative, and doing carpentry and fixing things at home. And so looking at them, as growing up, I think I've learned a lot of things.
Pluto gives you karmic relationship. Do your inspirational moments and maybe separations or upsets or pains have children in the form of paintings?
That's why before I start my work, I always make sure that I have sorted things that are bothering me, you know. And I'm the happiest when my children are around me, you know. So I make sure that I'm in a very happy space when I'm painting, and it does show in my paintings. You know, sometimes when I'm very sure about what I'm painting, but if I'm not in the right frame of mind, the painting never sees the light of the day, you know. It never happens. So I have learned from my past experiences that being in the correct space is very important. Getting those right energies is very important, and I always follow that.
But your transformational moments, maybe that was painful for you, did they give birth to your pieces of art somehow?
Yes, I mean, there have been a few incidents in my life in which were not very pleasant, and you know, it's been very tough. But that has kind of made me a bit more real in a way. Like when it was like a period when it was a bit of a dark and gray period when I was seeing death very closely. So, you know, it kind of made me realize like my close and dear ones are the ones who I really care for, and they care for me and cherish, and I should cherish these relationships. And my work, that's why it has a lot of these human touch. If you go through all my work that I do, it always has a very human touch and a very emotional connection, which I like to connect with my audience. I think for an artist, a situation like that does make it very does help him to connect with the people through his paintings at the emotional level. I studied architecture. I'm getting a bit scared of you now. Oh, yes. I don't want to read something which will affect my mood. There was a very traumatic experience. I used to paint a lot of roosters. Oh my God. You are some kind of oracle sitting there, you know? You have to take it out at that time. 3 million and, you know, like crazy amount of money. Oh my God, yes.
Кожна господиня має власний особливий секрет приготування смачних страв. Мій особистий секрет – це олія Данкен. Вміст олеїнової кислоти в олії Данкен вищий за оливкову. Корисні й унікальні споживчі властивості олії допомагають зберегти первинний смак усіх інгредієнтів моїх страв. А мої страви – це справжні сімейні цінності, що передаються від матері до доньки, від дочки до онуки та до праонуки. Українська високоолеїнова олія Данкен.
Це во!
2001-2002, a desire of independence, impulsiveness, strong initiative in business. How are creative work and business vigor combined?
Yes, that was the time when my transformation from was happening. That was kind of the first stage of transformation when I studied like art, architecture, design in an art school, and it so happened like I studied architecture, and in 2001 I decided to move away from architecture and go into product designing, you know, beautiful products. That was the first transformation that happened, and I was so passionate, and with so much vigor I got into all the entrance exams, and I I actually topped the entrance exam with such vigor and passion. I really wanted to get in the institute, and I got into Indian Institute of Technology, which is the top institute in India.
So let's continue. 2003, 2004. Strive for freedom and independence. You attract a lot of other people. What was the most important accidental encounter in your life?
2003 and 2004 was exactly the great time that I was just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit scared of you now.
We just started to share.
Because I think you can just read my entire life through through the little thing that you're doing, sitting and doing there. But yeah, 2003, 2004 was the time when I was gravely ill because I was just not well, and I was so close to, like, I was in a deathbed basically, and that was the time when my girlfriend, who's now my wife, I had such an immense support from her. We were not married, and it was like whether this should happen or this should not happen. But it was the test of time, and my family, my people around were so much believer in me that I will fight it out, even the faith that I didn't have in myself.
Very important to be surrounded by the people who love, believe, and can't live without it, definitely. 2005, 2006, Mercury gives you communication and connection with unusual people. Do you have an interest in occult sciences, sorry?
Oh yes, they do interest me. Otherwise, I was not. I wouldn't have been sitting with you here, right? But
Yeah.
I have never been very serious about it. But I have always been very curious about it. I don't read astrology. I used to at some point, but I don't read it just because I am very cautious about my mood. So I don't want to read something which will affect my mood, because sometimes it is like, something is coming up, so be careful and things like that. So I don't want to get distracted with that. So that's the only reason I don't read it, in the newspapers or. But when we were in school and colleges, there was this astrologer, you might have heard about her, called Linda Goodman.
Yes.
And we used to read that for a very funny reason, and the reason was just to find the best match for you. And yeah, I've always been very intrigued and curious about knowing these things. And 2005 2000, was it 2005 2006?
It's 5, 6.
Yes. So 2005 I got married. Okay.
Yes.
And as you know, or would probably know, in India, I'm a Hindu, though I don't practice Hinduism, but I'm born Hindu by religion. And when me and my girlfriend Ruchi, who we were going to get married, our parents got together and they got we call it kundli, like the astrology papers. I don't know
Yes.
what you call it, right? So they got all those papers, and they tried to match it, and it was like, oh my God, this is like a disaster. They should never get married because this, right? This is never going to work. This is like, and then it's like, oh, so they started checking, our birth timing and birth everything. And it was like my like Ruchi's dad who had found out about my astrology thing, and he called me up again and said, Tushar, so you said your birth is like Tuesday, 8:30 in the morning. And I'm like, hold on, it doesn't sound right. Let me check with my dad. I checked with my dad, and he said, no, it's actually in the PM, 8:30 PM. So they again went to the astrologer. They got the new set of papers and everything, and then they matched our papers again, and they're like, oh my God, this match is like made in heaven.
You touched very important topic. All my clients, when they address me, they ask me, oh, you think time is so important? Yes, unfortunately, each minute counts, and because it's formula. It's nothing to do with, I don't know, like reading from the space, with connection to the universe. It's algebra and geometrium, so it's completely mathematical way of solution. It's a science, it's an exact science, so every minute is very important. And the other thing that when we speak about synastrum, that is partnership map, why I love people who already have taken decision. We are together, so we don't put any kinds of responsibility on astrologists. We decided to be together, we love each other, but in case we have some small misunderstanding or problems, look our map, because we want to know not only how we match, but how to find the way to be together. We continue. 2006, 2007, a period of physical stress, or maybe even risk of traumas, maybe some kind of changing in professional activity. How to return your inspiration in case you lose it, and what does inspire you personally?
It was a very big decision that we took in those 2 years. And that was the time when actually we moved to London. And the reasons were, I mean, there were many reasons, but one of the reasons was like there was a very traumatic experience that happened in 2006, and not once, but twice. We were in Mumbai, and there were these terrorist attacks that happened in the train.
In that age, in that wow.
Yeah, so it was in 2006 when there were these bomb blasts that happened in series in the train, and that was the very train that my wife, I was married then, used to take. I used to live very close from the tube station, from the train station, and I actually heard the blasts, and I it was very, very traumatic because the phone lines were dead, so I couldn't get connected with Ruchi, and it was like a dead end. I just couldn't think straight, and just couldn't imagine what must have happened. I went to the terrace of my building, and I actually saw the pieces of like the train and things like that. So it was very, very traumatic.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes I prefer not to be right with my astrological calculations, but yes, but I'm very happy that this big transformation and pain changed your life for better. 2008, 2010. What are the secret actions to help avoid disapproval from others? How was your painting style formed? Because I saw very interesting pictures. I saw flowers, I saw people, and I saw concrete situation when you feel like you are inside, you're there, you're part of this. So how your signature method was created?
I seriously started painting in 2013. But before that, I used to sketch a lot. We had only moved to London, and in 2008, 9, and 10, those were the times when we moved to our new flat, and we kind of were settling in. And 2009, we had our first daughter. So that kind of changed a lot. And I still remember her first toy was a cockerel, like a rooster. I just painted it. That just inspired me to paint. And if you go deep down to my past painting, you will see I used to paint a lot of roosters, a lot of these cockerels, hens and chicks, and roosters mainly. And those are really, really popular at that time. People used to love them, and I used to sell them quite a lot, just plain roosters. And it was only after the birth of my second daughter in 2012 that I started doing, like you said, still lifes, flowers and things like that, when I kind of, it was just like very soothing to sit and while they were like playing, just look after them as I was painting. And so my style kind of went into getting a bit more serious and more traditional subjects I started picking up.
But before that, 2011, some kind maybe of difficulties in partnership. Have you ever tried to work with somebody? Maybe it was a project.
I did, and I wish I could say that here.
You see, it works. It works.
Oh my God. You are some kind of oracle sitting there, from Greek oracle telling me all this.
Very small oracle. Super small oracle with very big heart.
That was in 2011. And oh my God, for the sanity of this whole world, I would prefer not to say anything more on that. But it was in 2011 when I sort of had to put my foot down, and it was to do with copyrights and my artwork, and it being and the exploitation of my work. And so as an artist, you are very conscious about the credentials of your art pieces, and when that is at risk, at some point you have to stand for yourself and put your foot down and say, listen, this is my work.
Winter of 2015. Care for elderly relative, and maybe not easy time for you as well. And tell me please, how does it correspond to truth, and how life is going with creative person?
It was 2015 and 16 when this exact thing happened. My father was here and he had a stroke here. And he was hospitalized, and so it was a little bit of a tough time for all of us. So yeah, that's when the caring for elderly did happen. It is true. The thing is with creativity, it when it comes in like a what's the word, it just comes like that. So, and the timing is so important that you have to take it out at that time. So for your partner, it can be very difficult because you might just be sitting there and throwing orders, or asking, please don't come, I'm busy, or like, oh, I can't do this now, I'm busy. So you need a very, very understanding partner, and a partner who actually understands this and is appreciates this kind of uh, whole change of attitude. It's commendable, and I think in many ways Ruchi understands that, because she also comes from, we studied together, we understand the pressure, we understand the demands of the art world, of the the importance of the timing, the importance of that particular time and things like that. So we are very respectful of about each other's work.
She paints with oil as well.
She's an architect. She doesn't paint for living, but as an architect, you're constantly creatively engaged with aesthetics as well.
Yes.
So yeah, so she is into like she works for this multinational company. So they're constantly designing things, big malls, big projects and things like that. So she is creatively engaged as well.
2016-17, risk of deceit or maybe unfavorable time for agreements conclusion. Are there frauds in art?
Yeah, I'm sure there are frauds in art. Like, I mean, this is a very controversial subject because people may disagree with modern art and things that get sold for like 3 million and, like crazy amount of money for something that 90% of people would not even like or understand or be able to justify the amount of money that is being given. So at some level, that can be termed as, it gets termed as fraud, or a con in many ways. So it is controversial. And as an artist, I I have my own opinion about it, but modern art is here, and it is a form of art. And it's only helpful if you educate yourself to understand it. In terms of any frauds happening in 2017, oh my God, yes. 2017, that was when it was not related to the art world, but it was related to us personally when we people who would see this would know what happened. And it happened to me in with my work as well as with my holiday bookings as well. So both the times we were financially cheated. And you live and learn. So we both the times I have learned, but it did happen. Yes. Damn. There is somebody who make artists, and that's why he's a millionaire now. I have only one life, and in this life I'm happy to be an artist. What makes me really happy, it's good to constantly be inspired. In the house for one whole year. I have painted Lady Colin Campbell. It's a cosmic world that I don't understand.
Кожна господиня має власний особливий секрет приготування смачних страв. Мій особистий секрет – це олія Данкен. Вміст олеїнової кислоти в олії Данкен вищий за оливкову. Корисні й унікальні споживчі властивості олії допомагають зберегти первинний смак усіх інгредієнтів моїх страв. А мої страви – це справжні сімейні цінності, що передаються від матері до доньки, від дочки до онуки та до праонуки. Українська високоолеїнова олія Данкен.
Це во!
2016-17 financial moments related to corporate funds, insurances, taxes, or papers or inheritance. So it's all around that. We don't mention what it's exactly, but I do appreciate because you confirmed. What is about pricing in contemporary art? Nobody can understand. People understand price for table, for computer, for iPhone, for whatever, but how to form price for modern art?
Like I said, it's very, very controversial. And, artists make work, but there is somebody who make artists. There are agencies, there are corporate houses, there are private companies that actually make artists. And I think at some level, modern art is much to do with that. You have big companies that would make an artist, so that their work sells and they are gained from that. So when an artist is making work, there is somebody who is making an artist. So that's what it is, That's how it works, unfortunately. He did it and you did not do it. And that's why he's a millionaire now,
Definitely. Tushar, tell me please, if you had an opportunity to choose any social position, to become Minister of Culture or whatever, do you want to take some kind of that position to change something in the society?
I have only one life, and now I know we are talking hypothetically, but I have only one life. I want to live that as an artist, creating things. If I had a parallel or a clone, I would get that clone to become the ministry of, some arts in which there is a proper channelized ways in which every artist can make his money. There is some form of procedure in which art is, I won't say manufactured, but art is produced so that no artist goes hungry. I have only one life, and in this life, I'm happy to be an artist.
That's beautiful. What about your life-changing period around age of from 29 to maybe 32, around 30, let's say, because you have very powerful position of sun.
See, when I was entering 30s, that's the time when I started seriously thinking I have been constantly transforming myself from like an architect to product designer to your graphic artist to doing different things. But my heart was always getting the brush and splashing colors on the canvas. And it was around 30, 31, I think, when I finally put that final nail in the coffin, as they say, and said, like, this is what I really, really want to do. And I'm already 30. I don't want to keep exploring anymore. I think I know what makes me really happy. Give me a corner, my easel, a canvas, paints, and a brush, and I'm a happy person. And that's the age when I realized it.
By the age of 33, Neptune gives you strong intuitive abilities. Is your style to blame on your intuition? And who is the most unusual artist for you?
I'm a person with intuition. I always go with intuition. I might not have any reasoning why, but I go with my intuition. If something tells me this is right, I will do it. If something tells me wrong, I won't sit and analyze it, but I won't go for it because I know it is wrong. So I believe in intuitions. I like works of different artists for different reasons. Sometimes I like what they chose to paint. Sometimes I like how they have approached the whole thing so freely without bothering about whether it will be accepted or not. So there are so many artists that I constantly get inspired, and I think it's good to constantly be inspired. So there are quite a few.
Thank you. By the age of 35, Moon gives you a plunge into imagination. Do you create your inheritance as an artist? And are there some pieces that you would never sell?
Yes, I have some pieces that are done just solely for myself. And they usually tend to be the pieces in which my family members are involved. So those pieces I would probably keep for myself. But other than that, there are one or two pieces that probably I really like because I feel inspired. I mean, it's a bit narcissist to say that, but I feel inspired by those pieces, and they are kind of, they give me a certain pride, and I would like to keep matching my work and progressing much more than that. So I would like to keep them around me to tell me, like, you know this is what you have done, you can keep doing better. So yeah, I would like to keep.
By the age of 35, your Venice provokes very romantic periods in your life. Have you ever created a gift to Rushi, maybe, that was a piece of art?
I made her a jewelry. I'm not sure if it was at 35, but it probably was around 33.
Yes, around that age.
In my mid 30s, I designed her a couple of jewelry around that time. So I actually designed it, then it casted it in metal and things like that, polished, and she adores them. It was a little like a token of our love because by then we had two little girls, and it was almost like, I don't know what you call that, but it's like a thank you gift kind of a thing. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's when it was made, around that time, I would say.
By the age 41, 42, so like currently, let's say, like recently, a big emotional engagement, as astrology says. What is the most crazy thing you have done in your life?
Craziest thing I have done is, like, I have just been in the house for one whole year. I don't know. I mean, Ruchi had a birthday last week, and I painted her a surprise portrait, because it's not easy to paint, because I paint from my home at the moment. Everything is locked down, so this is where I paint from, and I have only like that little window of hours in the day when I can actually do something. So I couldn't get her to sit and be, my sitter while I paint. So I looked at all her recent photographs and things like that, and very secretly I painted. And it's not easy to hide a painting from her, because she'll be like, "Oh, how was your day? What did you do?" That. So I had to keep it very like wet and still keep it hidden and things like that. So it was a bit of a crazy thing to do, because I've done her sketches and things like that, but I've never done her a serious portrait, in so many years. And I did once, and she completely rejected it, saying like, "Oh, horrible! Do you think I look like this?" And da da da. So I I didn't tread those waters again. So I did this one, and it was, like I said, it was a bit crazy, because she had no idea that I was doing it, and it was a nice surprise gift for her when she woke up in the morning. I had framed it and hanged it in our living room. So she really, really loved it.
Tushar, now big actors, producers, writers, they do collect art. People really invest a lot in art, because what to buy by the moment. So what would be in collection of which personality you would love to be in?
He's not an actor. Well, he is sort of an actor. He's real though. I'm a big fan of David Attenborough. So I love to watch his programs. I love his voice. I love how he takes us through these different sea world and planet Earth and all those. I have watched all his series, and he actually is local. He was born in Richmond, Twickenham here, or Chiswick. These all my neighboring places, and so he's kind of a. If I ever get an opportunity to paint him, he will be the person I would love to paint. But other than that, I have painted Lady Colin Campbell, who is kind of a lady and aristocrat. In many ways, she's a celebrity, because she does these TV appearances and things like that.
I wish you beautiful clients with beautiful hearts, first of all, and to spread your love through your paintings all over the world. And could I ask you, Tushar, to give a closing, inspiring word to all the people who are watching us?
I'm not a great orator, but
You are. It's been 1 hour. I can prove it. Recording.
No, I think the credit goes to you, Irene, because you made me so comfortable. And the things, like I said, I'm going to call you an oracle, Irene, because the things that you have kind of rightly marked in my timeline, in my years, it's amazing. I'm very, very impressed, and I'm so glad we are doing this, because like I said, I've always been very curious about this whole astrology and numerology and stars and things like that. It's a cosmic world that I don't understand, and something that you don't understand, you're always very curious. Everybody should be very curious about things. Curiosity is good. The saying says that curiosity killed the cat, but it's very important as an artist to be very curious about why, how, when, things like that happen. And along with curiosity, it's very, very important to believe in yourself and keep working hard with the same passion as the first little trigger or the spark that you had, that little child in you, that had. Always keep that little child in you alive.
Thank you so much. It's very important, really, to keep our internal child inside us and to let it go and create beautiful things in life. That I really wish to you. And thank you so much for being so true, so sincere, so friendly. Tushar, I really wish you love, support, believe in yourself, and for your art to spread all over the world. From my side, as I promised, I will send to you the brief version of your horoscope on which were based my questions to you. And as well, from my side, I find the proper mineral for you. That is amethyst. It works with Sahasrara, that is the highest chakra, connected with the God, connected with your higher spirit, and works very good in meditation. So I hope that this mineral that is violet, that is has such a beautiful color, and you're a person of colors, can help you, can be your guide, could be your mentor, could be your friend. And as well, we have a rule in Stars About Stars project that our celebrity guest invites another guest. Who is your guest for today, Tushar?
He's a singer. He's a singer from India. He sings. He's a celebrity singer. He sings for and a music composer. He has composed and got awards for his songs and music composition. He's quite a big name in Bollywood. I'm going to reconfirm with him, get us all connected together. I think he will be interesting because he'll probably have so many other things to tell.
Thank you so much, Tushar. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. With love and belief, Irene Lentiggini.
Thank you, Irene. It's been a pleasure.